Special thanks to Petty Praetorian for the story. Please check them out in the description below. Now on to the story. I still remember it all, when we, the Shaltari, first made our jump from our homeworld into the stars above. We were not prepared for what was to come from the depths of the universe before us. It was more than 300 years ago that our people were able to make sure that we would expand across the stars and colonize more than 50 worlds, expanding our holdings and making more space for our young to grow and prosper. At this point in our history, there was a debate, as our people were not unified, but rather we were separated by different clans, all of whom had pledged their allegiance to their All-Mother, the matriarch of the clan from which all Shaltari from that specific clan come from. Much time was spent discussing how to proceed among the clans. All-Mothers. All-Mother Karsak, from Clan Kuriak, proposed that perhaps it would be better for all if the strongest clan should lead all the other clans, and, as such, that they should all submit to her. Proudly beating her closed fist against her chitinous armor, she knew very well that her clan was by far the most numerous amongst the other clans, with the biggest, strongest warriors. All-Mother Zinra from Clan Velol counters her proposal, saying that the one who should lead should be the most efficient and prosperous, and as such, she and her clan should be the ones to lead, being that her clan were the ones that were able to not only colonize and build an infrastructure in a new world faster than the other clans, but also the only ones that could successfully terraform a less than ideal world into a full-fledged colonizable world in a well-timely manner. All-Mother Krals from Clan Durval proposed that instead, the one to lead should be the one with the most advanced bioengineering techniques, since it was her clan, long before the rest of the Shaltari, that were able to unlock the secrets of genetic coding and genetic manipulation. If not for them, none of the others would be able to create the bioships that allow them to leave the atmosphere of their planet to begin with, nor would they be able to birth all of the different types of drones with specific gene tools and bioconfiguration necessary for them to do all the different jobs required to settle down, terraform, and colonize new worlds, not to mention the new breeds of warriors that were able to defend the new colonies from already established threats. With this last proposal, there was a silence in the room. All of the lower-ranking mothers were discussing in hushed tones with slight body movements, not one of them sure which one should be the one to lead. When all those present thought that this meeting would become a week-long discussion, another All-Mother presented herself before the others. She was small, especially in comparison to the other All-Mothers who had spoken before her. Her chitin was not as thick as the rest of them, but it reflected a beautiful and deep bluish hue. Her wings were small, too small to enable flight, but once fully opened, there could be seen a mix of blue and red hues that could hypnotize anyone who would stare for too long. This was Clan Olnark's All-Mother Nalzek. Clan Olnark was known for being a more pacifistic and cooperative clan. In the old days before going to war, they would exhaust all resources searching for a peaceful solution before committing themselves to battle. Even when they would go to war with other clans, they would act as support units for allied clans, for they knew that if they were to try and fight a full-on frontline battle all by themselves, they would be destroyed with little effort from their enemies. When All-Mother Nalzek spoke, she told stories of the time before the jump, of how each and every clan was responsible for their incredible feat of spaceflight, which now allowed them to cross the stars and establish new homes on distant worlds. She spoke of how Clan Kuriak kept order and secured the early projects of the colony bioships, and of how well they have kept the new world safe from danger, and how they will keep doing so for centuries to come. She spoke of Clan Velol and how quickly and efficiently they were able to acquire materials and birth drones to build up the first colonial projects, which made sure that their entire species would have a secure future among the stars on distant planets. She spoke of Clan Durval, who were instrumental in the creation of new life forms and biotools that would be able to resist the dangers of space and the radiation of distant stars, such as chitin that would resist both the vacuum of space and the high temperatures and burns of atmospheric re-entry. Before ending her speech, she asked that the All-Mothers remember that they did not come to where they are by themselves, and that they should appoint a leader that would be best suited for representing the voices of the Shaltari people as a whole. It took only a day for the decision to be made. Their leader would be none other than All-Mother Nalzek, however. And All-Mother Nalzek made sure that she would not dissolve the other clans, integrating them into her own like so many were afraid would be the case. For in her own words, their specializations are what make them stronger as a whole. Rather, while All-Mother Nalzek would serve as leader, the other All-Mothers would serve under her, reporting situations and developments concerning the Shaltari people. They would act as advisors, and if there came a day where the Shaltari people did not approve of her, the advisors could prepare a vote of confidence depending on the situation to relieve her of her duty if necessary. Thus, the Shaltari Council was born. Since its creation, Shaltari territory has expanded rapidly, now laying claim to more than 120 worlds. With a way to streamline decisions, and now that they are fully sharing their resources and manpower, their colonial development has also increased in speed and efficiency. Before the Council, worlds that were targeted for colonization would have to wait months, even years, to begin their process of colonization, since the clans would have to contact the other clans for the resources to do so. That would lead to negotiations and contracts for the original clan that requested the resources for every single other clan. Now that the All-Mothers were united under All-Mother Nalzek, it has simplified the process quite well. A clan will request permission to colonize a selected world, and the request will go straight to All-Mother Nalzek, who in turn will simply pass down the order to her advisors. This way, the process that would usually take months ended up scaling down to a week at best. Years after the creation of the Council, our territory expanded up to 147 worlds. Our people prospered, and there was peace and room for all. It was then that it happened. Our first contact with an intelligent alien species. They called themselves the Solcons. They were tall, thin beings with rough, grayish-blue skin, walking on 2 legs and 2 pairs of arms, with the upper pair being long enough to almost touch the floor and the lower pair being smaller, staying close to their thorax. The upper pair seemed to be specialized for combat and reaching for things. They also had large 4-fingered hands that could easily grab onto anything that they could reach. The second pair are significantly smaller, with smaller hands but 7 fingers. As they were really articulative, we speculated that they evolved for more specialized use, such as crafting or tool use. Their heads were almost oval-shaped, with the top ending in a small arrow tip. 2 pairs of eyes were found near the center of the head, with the upper pair larger than the lower ones, truly alien to us in appearance. Our first encounter with this new species wasn't as positive as we had hoped it would be. Their ship had crash-landed into one of our border worlds, a hive world, and they were in need of assistance. We were willing to help. When our worker drones arrived at the crash site, however, these new alien beings seemed extremely frightened at their appearance. A few of them were outside their ship, trying to repair the damage done to their ship's engines, wearing some kind of protective bodysuit, as we have learned. Their bodies did not seem to have the same natural resistance to the toxic gases that were present in our home world. When they first saw our drones, they braced themselves for the worst, preparing what were previously unknown apparatuses, which we later learned were mechanical weapons, or guns, as they were known. It could have been a disaster, but we had an advantage on our side, the power of psionics. Before things escalated any further, the drones were ordered to stay at a safe range from their weaponry, and the order was given for the birthing of new drones who would possess advanced psionic abilities. The process was fairly quick. Within mere hours, the first batch of psionic drones were birthed. One of the many advantages of psionics is their ability to read others' minds and to convey messages through thought. The reason we never had these drones created before was the simple fact that we were already gifted with psionic abilities. Thanks to that, it was easier for us to communicate with each other from one world to another without the need for sublight speed travel. However, as these abilities are naturally attuned for Shaltari physiology, we had to breed new drones with the capabilities to probe and analyze the minds of those foreign to our own. Thus, the necessary creation of new psionic drones. Once we were able to tune our minds to theirs, we were able to relate our thoughts to them and, through them, make them understand our intentions. Once this was achieved, we worked hard to restore their ship's engines, although this was done under their ever-watchful eyes. They seemed to be distrusting of us, even after we conveyed to them our intentions. When asked about their society and the universe that lay outside our own borders, we were met with denial or deflection. For some reason, these beings still felt threatened by us. Was our appearance really that disturbing to them? We wondered. We could have simply breached into their minds and ripped the information right out of their brains. However, the condition in which the subject would come out of such a high-stress mind meld was unknown, and we also thought it would be seen as rather rude. Even for us, to delve into another's mind without the proper permission to do so was seen as rude, taboo, and just plain wrong. While they kept the information about their own species secret, some of their crew did let slip about a group of civilizations that would work with each other for the benefit and prosperity of all. They called themselves the Galactic Alliance. We took small comfort in this, knowing that out there in the universe, there were others who, like us, had seen the pros of working together for a better future, and that despite the reactions of these aliens, perhaps others would eventually see us as more alike to them than as disturbing unknown creatures. After this encounter, these aliens were quick to leave our territory and return to their own space, as we assumed. Many thought of what would come of this. Would others come to meet us and learn about our ways, seek us out to trade for information about the universe at large, or would they spread out a warning about us, creatures so horrendous in appearance that our own territory appears in galactic maps across the universe as a no-go zone? Maybe they would simply try and find some way to quarantine us, closing their borders with our own. The thoughts that prevailed the most, however, were that they could try and destroy us for simply being what we are. A moment of fear was felt across the entirety of the Shaltari territories. After years of continuing with our expansion across the stars, colonizing new worlds, and bringing new life into our clans, we had another encounter. This time it was not an accident that left a crew stuck on one of our worlds. It was a landing craft, as we learned that this is what it was called. A lot smaller than the first ship from our first contact. A small opening on the side of the landing craft slowly appeared. It folded out of the ship, and once it touched the ground, we could see that it had a set of stairs on the inner side of it. 3 creatures could be seen stepping out of the craft. They stood around as if waiting for something. We prepared our psionic drones to meet them, and this marked the first time that we met with them, our faithful allies and friends. They called themselves humans. If you enjoyed this story and wants to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And for every comment that comments heart, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.